Israeli war on the Gaza Strip enters its fourth month with the death toll rising to 22,700. U.S. Central Command says it intercepted a Houthi drone attack in the southern area of the Red Sea. Masam mining project in Yemen dismantles 3,000 mines and unexploded ordnance in December. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news to me, Shazad Delbey. Almost 93 days since the Israeli war was launched on Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. More than 22,000 have been killed and thousands are injured. According to the United Nations, Gaza has become a death zone. This report has more details.
Top international diplomats discussed strategies for keeping the Gaza war from spreading beyond Israel and the Palestinian territories, exactly 3 months after the start of the conflict, as Palestinian and Israeli authorities claimed thousands of military and civilian deaths. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the European Union's diplomat were on separate trips to the region to try to quell spillover from the 3-month-old war into Lebanon, the Israeli-occupied West Bank, and Red Sea shipping lanes. Israel often trades fire across the Lebanese border. The West Bank is seething with anger, and the Iran-aligned Houthis in Yemen seem determined to continue attacks on the Red Sea until Israel stops bombarding Palestinians in Gaza. Palestinian Health Ministry has said that 70% of Gaza's dead are women and people under 18. The fighting has displaced most of Gaza's 2.3 million population, with many homes and civilian infrastructure left in ruins amid acute shortages of food, water, and medicine. Fighting raged on in Gaza, especially in and near the southern city of Khan Yunis, where the Israeli military said it had killed members of the Palestinian resistance, which rules the densely populated coastal strip. The Palestinian Red Crescent reported heavy shelling near Al Amal Hospital in Khan Yunis. Shrapnel flew into the medical facility amid the sound of firing from drones. The official Palestinian news agency said an Israeli airstrike on a residential building had killed at least 12 people and wounded 50, and another strike on a school in central Gaza had killed as many as 4. Blinken held talks with the Turkish Foreign Minister and President Erdogan, a fierce critic of Israel's military actions in Gaza. Turkey has offered to mediate, and Blinken said he would spend the next few days discussing with allies and partners how they can use their influence to protect civilians and maximize humanitarian aid. The High Representative of the EU expressed alarm in Beirut about exchanges of fire between Israel and other forces in Lebanon and the risk that Lebanon could be dragged into the Gaza conflict.
The Palestinian Journalist Syndicate condemned the massacre carried out by occupation forces against Palestinian journalists in the Gaza Strip. The last crime led to the killing of journalist Hamza al-Dahdouh, the son of Al Jazeera TV correspondent Wael al-Dahdouh, and Mustafa al-Thuraya following the bombing of their vehicle. An Israeli airstrike killed 6 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, the Palestinian Health Ministry said on Sunday. Israel said its aircraft fired on Palestinian militants who had attacked troops in the city of Jenin, while the Palestinian Ministry said the strike targeted people who had gathered at the site, and eyewitnesses said the attack happened as Israeli forces were withdrawing. Hundreds of protesters in London staged a pro-Palestinian rally in Westminster Bridge, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. The London protesters blocked off the bridge and the surrounding roads after a march from St. James Park in the center of the city. The demonstrations, organized by the Free Palestinian Coalition, renewed calls for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. It also called for the UK to stop arms sales to Israel and end to the Israeli occupation of Palestine. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed signed a law canceling the agreement concluded between Ethiopia and Somaliland regarding the sea port. Also, the Somali president praised the parliament for approving the law for the historical role they played in defending the heritage of Somali generations and the country's independence. The U.S. Central Command said it shot down a drone in the Red Sea. No casualties were recorded or damage, and the announcement came as the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations said that 6 small craft approached a merchant vessel from Mecca.
2023 has been a year of enormous suffering, violence, and climate chaos. Humanity is in pain. Our planet is in peril. 2023 is the hottest year on record. People are getting crushed by growing poverty and hunger. Wars are growing in number and ferocity, and trust is in short supply. But pointing fingers and pointing guns lead nowhere. Humanity is strongest when we stand together. 2024 must be a year for rebuilding trust and restoring hope. We must come together across divides for shared solutions, for climate action, for economic opportunity and a fairer global financial system that delivers for all. Together we must stand up against the discrimination and hatred that are poisoning relations between countries and communities. And we must make sure new technologies, such as artificial intelligence, are a force for good. The United Nations will keep rallying the world for peace, sustainable development and human rights. Let us resolve to make 2024 a year of building trust and hope in all that we can accomplish together. I wish you a happy and peaceful new year.
The EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs is going to begin a 2-day visit to Saudi Arabia. He will discuss joint coordination with regional partners to enhance diplomatic efforts with the aim of creating conditions to reach a just and lasting peace between Israel and Palestine and end the Israeli aggression against the Palestinians. Massam project for demining Yemeni land dismantled more than 3,000 mines and unexploded ordnance in December 2023. This report has more details.
The month of December 2023 witnessed a number of qualitative events that Massam project experienced and indicated the tidings of a new year full of achievements and determination to succeed and shine at the level of its humanitarian bet in Yemen. Massam managed to dismantle 3,015 mines, unexploded shells, and explosive devices. In this context, Massam received a package of messages of appreciation on the occasion of the conclusion of the Gulf Summit hosted by the Qatari capital last December. The content of the final statement issued by the summit in praise of the work of Massam project in the Yemeni territories comes within the framework of the caring of the leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries for the interest of the Yemeni people and their keenness on everything that would achieve security and stability in the Republic of Yemen. What was included in the statement is considered the best motivation for the project and all its workers towards continuing Massam's humanitarian mission. The chief goal of this mission is to help the Yemeni people get rid of the danger of mines planted by the militia in flagrant violation of the rules of international humanitarian law. During December, Ma'rib Governorate held a celebration on the occasion of the International Human Rights Day. Within the framework of this celebration, Massam project was honored in appreciation and gratitude for its ongoing efforts to protect human rights and preserve the lives of the innocent people, as well as for its unprecedented humanitarian giving in order to clear the Yemeni lands from the danger of mines that threatens the lives of the population. The same month also witnessed Massam's participation in a photographic and documentary exhibition entitled Houthi Violations, Crimes Against Humanity and Destruction of the Homeland, which was held in El Khawkha district in Hodeidah Governorate, with the aim of conveying the voice of the innocents and those affected by the oppression of mines to the world.
Government forces arrested a Houthi cell for planting explosive devices. The government forces media added that the cell consists of 4 members who were recruited by Houthi leader to plant explosive devices, burn crews, and carry out killings of leaders in a number of West Coast districts. Dozens of Houthi militants were killed and others injured by government forces' fire in Taiz. The confrontation followed Houthi infiltration attempts and bombing by drones and mortar shells. The Taiz Texas media center stated that the clashes between army forces and Houthi militia broke out on several fronts around the city and the western countryside of the governorate. Coming next in the news. Yemeni journalist Magali Al-Samadi receives medication in Amman following a Houthi assault on him in Sana'a.
كان تعب من أول، ما بش معانا حاجات، ما بش معانا شيء، وإحنا في البيت ملان يعني داخل كلنا سوا نقعد نجلس سوا، بس ظهر سيول وذا وتخرب وكل شيء يعني كذا.
The environment in Marib is extremely difficult. There are the weather events here. In the summer it is extremely hot. In the winter very cold. There are rainstorms which come in August and September. Our localised shelter offers safety and security to the displaced population and also offers them protection from these extreme environmental impacts.
Welcome back. The terrorist Houthi militia seeks to launch a new recruitment campaign in Ib central Yemen. This came in a militia meeting at the headquarters of Ib Governorate, which discussed what they called the general mobilization mechanism and the formation of popular support forces at the level of the governorates, capitals, and districts. Journalist Magali Al-Samadi was the target of a Houthi assault again in the capital Sana'a. He was moved to the Jordanian capital Amman for medication as his injuries are severe. This is another incident which shows the systematic crackdown of the Houthis on journalists and freedom of expression. This report has more details.
Yemeni journalist Magali Al-Samadi was attacked by Iran-backed Houthis in Sana'a last week. On January 1st, less than a day after Al-Samadi criticized a judge at a Houthi-run court for denying his appeal against a ban on his radio broadcasts, an armed group with suspected connections to the Houthis assaulted him for the second time in 6 months and broke the windows of his car outside his home in Sana'a. Al-Samadi, the head of Voice of Yemen Radio, has flown to Jordan for medical treatment. He posted a photo taken on a Yemeni flight from Houthi-controlled Sana'a to Amman. He said the attack caused his hands to swell and become red as a result of blood clots, and that he was having difficulty moving his hands and legs. This incident comes as local and international campaigners condemned the militant group for persecuting dissenting voices in Yemen. In early 2022, the Houthis shut down Voice of Yemen Radio and 5 other radio stations for refusing to broadcast the group's propaganda. The first attack on Al-Samadi was in August, after he continued to protest against the broadcast ban and supported public demands for the Houthis to pay government employees' salaries. Yemen's information minister strongly condemned the Houthis for attacking Al-Samadi and others who opposed their rule, and accused the group of attempting to exploit the conflict in Gaza as a means to silence their critics and deflect public outrage over their failure to pay public sector workers. The official stated that these assaults and threats indicate the Houthi militia state of panic, as well as its attempts to use regional events to silence critics of its actions. Continuous robbery of the state's public funds and refusal to pay employee wages.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in Yemen warned of the winter challenges in the new year. It is estimated that the harsh weather conditions in the winter season would affect more than 900,000 people in 12 governorates, including displaced persons and host communities. Shabwa witnessed an increase in onion prices. The higher prices are due to exporting onion to neighboring countries together with insufficient harvest. This report has more details.
One of the most significant agriculture products for which Shabwa government has gained distribute during the previous 3 decades is onions. The government is a hub for the production and sale of this essential commodity to several domestic and international markets. But in recent years, there has been an obvious decrease in the amounts of onions grown. This is likely due to the high production costs, which discourage most farmers from growing onions.
What's happening in Shabu and the rest of the governorates in terms of high prices is due to weak production and the high cost of diesel that reach 30,000 riyals. The rent of trucks, which has reached 3,000 riyal to any market, and the cost of the bags and the wage of worker who does the packing, that is 500 riyals each. Farmers are not making as much money as in previous years, and prices have also risen due to the export of onions to neighboring countries, especially this year. Also, to farmers' reluctance to grow onions due to the losses they are suffering.
The governorate's marketplaces saw a substantial increase in onion prices due to the fall in output volumes. A 20-kilo bag was selling for 30,000 riyals. The increase in onions is attributed by onion dealers to other causes, such as increased production volumes and the ongoing export of onions to adjacent nations.
The reason for high cost of onions is that the reluctance of farmers to grow them as a result of the high cost of fuel and other things. Shabu was famous for growing onions, unlike today, where production is less. Export to neighboring countries and Somalia played a role in its price rising to more than 30,000 riyals.
Official sources have disclosed that, notwithstanding the effect of the export process on domestic demand and consumption, the issuance of onion export license has been done arbitrarily and in breach of the law, since the Ministry of Agriculture's marketing department has not recognized it as a legitimate authority.
Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Israeli war on the Gaza Strip enters its fourth month, with the death toll rising to 22,700. U.S. Central Command says it intercepted a Houthi drone attack in the southern area of the Red Sea. Massamda mining project in Yemen dismantles 3,000 mines and unexploded ordnance in December. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.